Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our chats with Emily as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to 681, Soil of Flint, if steady tilled. Now, this is a fascinating poem. It, I believe, is another poem for Emily about writing poetry. I think standing behind this poem is that gospel story account that appears in Matthew 13, 1 through 23, Mark 4, 1 through 20, and Luke 8, 5 through 15, what is sometimes referred to as the parable of the sower, where a sower, a person goes out and casts seeds on 4 different kinds of ground, the wayside, the stony places, and the thorns. And the seed won't grow, won't take root, and then finally you have the good ground where the seed takes root. And of course, this has often been utilized as a story or a parable to try to explain the importance of attitude. We should point out, by the way, that this poem actually is not 4 lines, but 8 in the Franklin edition. And it will begin actually with these lines. On the bleakness of my lot, bloom I strove to raise. Late my garden of a rock yielded grape and maize. But then the poem, the 4 lines that Johnson includes, will be the poem that we'll be looking at here. Now, our assumptions that you've been following our stuff at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, a playlist. I'm hopeful that you've worked through our set of introductory comments as well as the preceding 680 poems. We just finished with 680, Each Life Converges. And the advantage of doing that is that this sentiment of the way in which one must work hard to get through the difficult obstacles. Can we call this a theodicy, the last of our big 5, right? Why must there be pain and suffering? Emily's going to make the argument that, no, if you're willing to till, if you're willing to work hard, you can get beyond that rough stuff to something beyond. Pain is a propedeutic, not why did this happen to me, but rather what if we say, why did this happen for me? Another poem about what one scholar has called the history of Emily's self-reliance. I think it's a really, it makes us think about, of course, her contemporary Ralph Waldo Emerson and his classic Self-Reliance, which we've given full lectures on at Learn Strong as well. Let's enjoy the poem. Soil of Flint, if steady tilled, will refund the hand. Seed of palm by Libyan sun, fructified in sand. Now, she'll only use the word tilled and Libyan one time in all her poetry, and it's here, so that alone makes us sit up and take note. Notice that she'll begin by talking about soil can be hard, flint, but if it is steady, and I think that's the key word of the poem, tilled, taken care of, it will refund the hand. In other words, no, you can get stuff to grow even out of hard ground. In other words, notice how she's almost in some ways, in a dialogic sense, theologically, arguing with Christ in the parable of the sower. In other words, it just takes a lot more work for the seed to take root in the wayside or the hard ground or the thorny ground or whatever. Notice she then uses an example. You can take a palm seed that will produce a palm tree and plant it in the sand, and if you take good care of it, even you can grow a palm tree in the Libyan sun, because it will be fructified. Now, this fructified, I think, is the key word here as well, because it suggests there's always something that can grow out of the worst imaginable of flint soil, bad soil. I think at 2a, the point here is that we can overcome our troubles by cultivating them. In other words, working hard can fructify the bleakest allotment, as one scholar has reduced it to. At 2b, well, I love the idea of writing as tilling, and we're familiar with other poets that have done that kind of word picture. It starts, of course, with Virgil, and the way in which Virgil plays that game as well, of the importance of writing as well as tilling, the idea that we're all kind of playing that game together. At 3a, there's several poems here that will come to mind for us as we get ready for our studies down the line. We will come back to this poem. For example, when we get to 684 here in a bit, best gains must have the losses test to constitute them gains. Or for example, when we hit 1025, she'll say it this way. The products of my farm are these, sufficient for my own, and here and there a benefit under a neighbor's bend. With us, 'tis harvest all the year. For when the frosts begin, we just reverse the zodiac and fetch the acres in. It's quite brilliant to talk about, again, writing and producing that way. And when we get to 1181, she says it this way: when I hoped I feared, since I hoped I dared, everywhere alone as a church remains, specter cannot harm, serpent cannot charm, he disposes doom who hath suffered him. The willingness to go through it. And again, just to remind, these lines were preceded in a note that she sent to her pal Sue. On the bleakness of my lot, bloom I strove to raise. Late my garden of a rock yielded grape and maize. Of course, it will be the palm tree in the next 4 lines. Finally, at 3b, when was a time when for you to own a poem like this? When was a time for you when hard work did pay off and you were able to till even the flinty soil? Thank you.